Without any further ado, I'd like to welcome our guest. You've probably heard the name before. He's our newish CEO for the ARRL. That's David Minster NA2AA. So I'm going to bring Dave in here and welcome him to Ham Radio Q&A. So David, good evening, and thanks for joining us today. It's a pleasure.
Good evening. Great to see you guys.
All right, so it's really glad you could join us tonight and talk about one of my favorite subjects, and it's sort of a tie between my all-time favorite and second favorite operating activity, but that's field day. So it kind of shifts.
And what's the other one?
I knew you were going to ask that. So it really depends. If it's March, then my favorite's the Wisconsin QSO party. But then every other month of the year, it's field day. And,
unless he's in his hammock, then it's whatever he's doing while he's in his hammock.
Hammock portable, of course. And I know for a lot of us, I've always said field day is that one thing that kind of, it sort of seals the deal, because I probably my first field day, I got my license in '99, and I joined the club, and you do your things and whatnot, and you don't really understand, I guess, the bigger concept of amateur radio until that fourth weekend in June, when I went out to the club's field day site, and somebody sticks you down in front of a radio and says, "Here, go work 20 meters for a while." And then it's sort of all of a sudden, it's like, it's like being thrown off the dock. You struggle for a little bit, and then things just kind of start to make sense. And
a trial by fire.
Yeah, and then before you know it, it's 11:30 at night, and you don't want to go home.
Or the one time when we had one guy who got out at 8 o'clock, and we peeled him off the radio at 10:30 the next morning.
Yeah. So
I had the good fortune of doing a field day, and it was my favorite field day back in the 1980s with a group of guys that today you would recognize them by their call signs. They're all top contesters. And the one guy, Phil K3UA, who's just like the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet, he wound up taking 40 meters overnight, and nobody woke up to relieve him. So when the sun came up, he was completely wiped out and was like, "Hey guys, thanks a lot."
So yeah, you've been there too, and I like the overnight shift. It's that seems to be the way in which the past several years I've been operating at field day, because you get there early on Saturday morning and you go through all of the setup stuff, and then the event starts, and you spend the next 3 hours putting out fires, and then it's dinner time. And then you're chatting with people, and all of a sudden it's like 9 o'clock. You say, "I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work the radio." And I usually from about 9 p.m. until about 2 o'clock in the morning, it's usually that progression from 20 down to 40 down to 75. And by 2:30 or 3, it's enough shut-eye to wake up at 6 and make the coffee. So,
well, what's great to me about field day is that it's a part of our hobby where no matter what your interest level is, you can be involved. You can be a part of a team if you want to. You can do it on your own if you want to. If you are not a big time operator, but you love erecting antennas or setting up the site, if you're a social captain and want to stand at the grill and debate whether we're making burgers or steaks next, it doesn't matter. No matter what you want to do for the weekend, there's a little bit of something in there. And the other thing is that it's a great opportunity, especially if you're in a public park or something. You're gonna get people that walk by and go, what in the world are you guys doing? And it's a great introduction to the hobby, so that, you know, someone who's, you know, totally uninitiated can see how much fun people are having being together and being on the air.
Yeah, and it's
a 30-foot antenna really draws a crowd.
That it does. And it to that point, you know, Field Day really is it's like our annual homecoming, because everybody, hams come out of the woodwork for it. You know, people you haven't seen in years, they'll show up, and it's just not to operate, just to sit down and chat. And people kind of, you know, filter in and out through the day, and it's a lot. I think that's what makes it special, because, you know, you'll see people that you haven't seen, you know, maybe since last Field Day, or you haven't seen in 5 years, and they just kind of show up, or just show up out of the woodwork. People I've never known, you know, who you are, or that you were a ham, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity for people to experiment with their stations as well. You know, you guys were saying that, you know, you played with an off-center fed dipole last year. You know, one of the things that we did this year is we put a end-fed half-wave antenna kit into the store in advance of Field Day. The thing sold out in a matter of 3 days. So we went back and restocked the store. It's almost sold out again. But, you know, guys want to be able to, you know, you know, to get their hands dirty, you know, but they want there to be some measure or some potential of success. And, you know, by going ahead and putting the parts together for them, so that they know that by the time they're done with their effort, they're going to have something that works, you know, I think is great. So you were holding up QST. I don't know.
Yep.
Did you guys see the Field Day issue of QST?
Yep, and that's what I got right here in my hands.
So I don't know if you noticed inside, but did you see the Field Day guide? So this is a pullout section of QST that's intended for you to take to Field Day. And it's got things like, it's got all of the sections on the back, so that you don't need to fumble around for a list. You know, there you go.
Yep.
You know, there's safety recommendations in there. There's even a, you know, I remember one of the groups that I went out with on Field Day, there was a big argument about whether chili had beans in it or not. You know, and
chili has beans, but no noodles.
Okay, well, and if you're from Cincinnati, it's on top of rice with, you know, onions and cheese, right?
Spaghetti, yeah.
Oh, spaghetti, right. Sorry, you're absolutely right.
Steak too.
But so what we tried to do is it was actually a recommendation that came into us for, why don't we look at doing a pull-out supplement to QST. And I have to tell you, of all the magazines that have come out during my 8-month tenure as CEO, this has been the one that's gotten the most feedback. I mean, people just love this pull-out section. So it's really nice. I mean, you've done special advertising sections for like the Hamvention or not, but this is really, there's really good stuff in here. Yeah. Uncle Grant's Field Day chili. So now the ARRL's Field Day chili seasoning, we can get that in the store now, can't we? Yep.
Anything to make a buck, right?
Yeah. Actually, no, this is not a moneymaker for us. Again, this is to try to guarantee you with some success.
So if you take the chili seasoning and you spread it over the antenna ballon, it helps the propagation, correct?
I don't know about that.
It'll probably keep the bugs away.
Well, there you go. That's
well, I'll tell you what, if you eat that with beans, you're going to keep the other operators away.
Does that count for the natural power QSO, though?
I don't know. I guess it depends, Michael, how you implement it.
It's something. Oh, boy. Well,
I got a
we've
couple.
actually gone down the toilet humor tonight, so thank
Yeah,
you.
we got a couple of comments here. So, yeah, the best way to explain field day to my parents and convince them is actually meaningful and worth taking to me. You know? I'm 14 and they barely understand ham radio. So this, yeah, get them out there and get on the air. I guess that's kind of the best thing to do. Absolutely.
And when you're there and someone shows up in the public, be enthusiastic.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
don't ignore them. You know, go out and talk to them, and talk up the hobby, talk up ham radio.
Yep.
My very first field day was actually an accident. My family was spending the summer in San Francisco, and I was bored, so I got a book and studied for my general exam, and I passed it. And that weekend, my father, we got in the car, and he said, I heard that there's going to be some ham radio guys up on this hill, near San Francisco. So we drove up there, and sure enough, these guys had set up for field day. I mean, I was a teenager. I had absolutely no idea what these guys were doing, but we spent a couple of hours with them and had a great time watching them operate field day.
Awesome. So,
and that's the thing about it. It's not just the event itself, but you build memories. There's a shared experience. It seems like every ham at some point in their time or life or in their hobby has experienced field day. We all kind of have that shared experience, and then when we get together, we have to tell those stories, good, bad, or ugly. When Murphy shows up on field day, it happens to everyone. We share those experiences. We laugh about it. The times that we stayed up all night, or the times that the storm comes through, which seems to happen every year. But you got to tell the storm story.
Yep.
And you tell the storm story every year to someone else that comes through, and then they tell the story. You kind of get together to build a community, and I think that's the greatest part about field day. It's not just being on the air, but it's the community.
It's the community, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that we were keen to put into the pullout section had to do with field day safety. It seems every year that somebody does something, like they push a tri-bander on a pole up into some trees, and there's a power line in there, and somebody gets hurt or worse.
Oh yeah.
So and when the storm comes rolling through, if you've been crafty and you've got a wire antenna way up in the trees, you might unplug it for a little while and head back to the car. So, you don't become that kind of a story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or, make sure that your beam is firmly attached to the mast, the pneumatic mast that's being pumped up. So when it goes, poof, it doesn't go flying. It goes through someone's trailer.
Boy, pneumatic
Another story.
I got to operate field day with you guys. Pneumatic mast. What the heck is that?
It's a long story, but we have since retired that mast.
It needs to be rehabbed, but oh goodness. So
what we did was we used a bucket truck from a friend who worked for an electrical contractor, and we put the thing on a little pole in the bucket and just pushed it up into the air.
Well, a bucket truck has been discussed this year, so we're seeing if we can get one. And if so, where it's in a church parking lot and they have wooden light poles. Our goal is to put a couple pulleys at the top of the wooden light poles, and then everyone can bring an antenna and we can try it.
Yeah,
and
it's easy up, easy down, and we can just swap them out in a couple of moments.
See, for us, we have an advantage over Wisconsin, which is everybody's west of us. So we take a tri-bander, we point it west, and it's all over. You guys are back and forth.
But the nice thing about being in the Midwest is we can work both coasts without, with a wire antenna, and you hear it from both sides, and everything is just louder and bigger on the air for us. So
we have half the distance to go to the West Coast. So.
No, that's true.
But you talk about the field day shared experience, and I mentioned, David, I mentioned to you that our club has been doing field day since 1935. It was founded in 1934. So today I took a moment and I went through the QST archives and I found the field day results from 1935, and they had a little write-up about our club, and it said that W9 LED/9, representing the Wausau Radio Operators Club, Wisconsin, used 3.5 megacycles exclusively, 6 members setting up the equipment on Rib Mountain. 2 71As in a battery-powered crystal rig made 61 contacts, 549 points score, in spite of terrible QRN, rain, and wind storms.
There
So
it is.
80 years later, nothing has changed.
Oh, we still have storms every Saturday night.
And 80 meters is QRN Central.
And sometimes it's QRM Central too, depending on the
Yeah, it gets pretty noisy at night, that's for sure. But I love the overnight shift and dropping down to that band, and so they've been doing it ever since. And I don't know if we've ever missed. Probably this last year was the first time we ever officially canceled a field day.
Yeah, I am the first president of the Wisconsin Valley Radio Association in 80 some odd years to cancel field day, except maybe for during World War II. So I have like the scarlet letter on me now. Thanks, COVID.
But we'll be back. We'll be back. So we got it.
Oh.
And I think we've got a good plan to make it a safe field day. And I think that's important. It's to consider that even though we're kind of on the downward trend with COVID, we should do what you can to make it safe. Keep the hand sanitizers and wipe down stations as necessary. And it's if people feel comfortable with a mask, it's wear the mask. Get vaccinated for sure. And then let it be fun for everyone. So.
Yeah,
we're very some hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate here in Connecticut because the vaccination rate is up over 70% for the entire state.
Oh.
And, being able to do a field day event this year, I mean, all the restaurants are open now. You don't need a mask. The grocery stores, pretty much everywhere you can go without worrying about that because of the vaccination level within the state. So
that's nice. That's really nice. I know Wisconsin is just under 50. I think it's in the mid 40s right now. It depends on what part of the state you're in. So it's we're working it. So you talk about safety, and the HQ says don't forget the sunscreen. Safety first. It's, every year it seems to be hot and sunny and at field day, and I know it's wear a hat or stay under the shade or the sunscreen. So
I have to remember these. I'm the safety officer this year. I don't know why I have to be the safety officer.
We wrote them down in the addendum to QST, Joe. All you have to do is pull it out, take it.
Yep.
You got it.
And I got a couple of videos on my channel. I got one on the 10 things you need to know to be a safety officer to have a safe field day. And I think I got another one that tells you how to fill out that NTS radiogram so you can get your quick 100 points to your section manager.
You got to get your bonus points. Yes.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing.
And Michael, being on the city council, is our elected official, so we get the bonus points just for him showing up.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Well, it always used to be another one of our club members' wives was on city council, and she's actually a ham as well. So she was always the bonus. But now that Michael's there, we just write him down.
Our club usually has the distinction of making more points off the bonuses than they do of actual contacts. We seem to have we've got a lot of people that like to set things up, and we haul out everything in the kitchen sink, and then the radios just sit there. Come on, get on the air. Do something with this.
Because we all sit around and talk too much.
Because we sit around because it's homecoming, so we all sit around and talk, and then we just go down the checklist of bonuses. It's media, public information, elected official, emergency manager, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Get our radiograms out and copy the message, and before you know it, we score almost almost all of the bonuses. I think the only one that we ever struggle with is the satellite contacts. So.
Every year we try.
We put the hints in the supplement so you can make your one contact.
Yeah.
Well, our two satellite gurus, bless their heart, they've made satellite contacts every other day of the year. And at field day, I think they've been dry for, I don't know, 4 years running.
Oh,
so
I'll tell you, the secret to making your satellite contact during field day is very simple. Do it in the middle of the night. If you try to do a daytime pass, you've got all the AMSAC guys, all the field day guys, everyone's stepping on each other. But in the middle of the night, most of those guys are sleeping. So.
We're going to have to tell Gary that
our two guys are sleeping as well.
Yeah. Well, but somebody wake them up.
Wake them up and get them on the air. So we're going to, I'll go over to Gary's house and roast him if that's what we need to do. So
well, we'll be real close to his house this year, so we're good.
Yeah.
So guys, can we I'm watching these questions roll by, and I feel bad that there was a question there about if I'm not in a club, is there any recommendation to participate in field day?
Oh, here we go. Yeah. For those of us not in a club yet, on the best way to participate. And probably the easiest way to find a field day site is to go on to the ARRL's website and use the field day finder, wouldn't it?
Well, you could do that, but regardless of what kind of a station you have, my advice is get on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to try a new antenna, you guys were talking about QRP before. I had an amplifier power supply blow right at the beginning of a contest, and I was so irritated. I said, you know what? I'm not even going to play around with 100 watts. I'll go down to 5 watts. So
there we go.
So I operated QRP. And during the first night of the contest, I used an off-center fed dipole, and I didn't feel like I was getting out right. I was making good contacts, but the next day I dropped that antenna and just put up a regular 40-meter dipole. And the next night, some of the stations I couldn't work on the off-center fed dipole, like New Zealand, I was able to work on the high 40-meter dipole.
Sure.
So if you're at home and you want to operate field day, take a few days before the contest, maybe put up a new antenna, but do something to make sure that you can get on the air. And actually, with field day, one of the rules that changed is home stations can contact other home stations. And just get on and do that, but don't let the opportunity to work field day pass you by.
Yeah. And if you can't find a club to participate with, you can do it solo. I know I did it. I went solo last year and spent the weekend camping, and but otherwise you could set up in a park. If you're familiar with parks on the air, it's the same. It's the same thing. To get yourself, what you need to do for field day, what you need to do for parks on the air. Just get yourself a battery, and you don't have to do all 27 hours. You can just do it for an afternoon if you want it. So.
And the other thing about field days, it's not a contest. You're not competing with anyone. This is just for you to be able to take a look at a measure of what you can do, what you want to do, what your station can do. And that's really all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So excellent. So I got another question here. Are there ARRL or ARES pamphlets we can print and distribute at field day for the public organizations that visit? So.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to be able to do that at field day, drop me an email at ceo@ARRL.org and I'll set you up.
There you go. Yeah, I know there's stuff online that you can find and download, but drop David an email.
I might even throw something else in the box.
So
and there goes David's email server.
Whoops.
Steve wants to know, why not alternate year to year from summer to winter field day for us lower latitudes to enjoy?
Oh, come on.
The thing about
in Wisconsin and the Northeast, I don't know who's got it worse.
It's hot everywhere, I suppose, for summer field day. Winter field day, it's I know the winter field day is not an ARRL event, but it presents its own challenges too, especially in our northern climes. So
challenges and opportunities. You can get on 160 meters and it'll be open.
Yes. So let's see. Yeah, it'll be great to hear W1AW on the air, of course. So
let me tell you that's from N1NUG, Rob, who has his own channel, right? And he also is worked with us on preparing a video series about building that end-fed half wave, and we took it out to a park in Windsor Locks, and we'll be putting those videos up on our YouTube channel in the next, I'd say, couple of weeks or so. But 741, heck of a good guy.
Yes, great, excellent channel. I like his content. Raven asks, "It's my first field day. What should I bring? My HT? Any special antennas?"
Whatever you want.
You can bring whatever you want. If you're gonna, it's a lot of times if you're gonna participate with a group, you can just show up and they'll have everything you might need.
I'd bring my own headphones and I'd bring my appetite.
Yes.
Good point. Yep.
In effect, yeah, especially this year, I highly recommend everybody, it's get your own set of headphones and use so you don't have to use the community ones because it makes a big difference. So that's
while
a
you're
great.
On that, make sure you have 1/4-inch and 1/8-inch jacks. So depending on which radio you're on. Definitely. And you find a nice comfy pair of headphones or earbuds or whatever, because once you get going, especially at night, you kind of tune everything out. That's when the real fun begins.
Yeah. Although don't spend a lot of money on headphones for field day, because headphones and mosquito repellent do not mix. So I had a pair that just completely melted the foam pieces.
I can't tell you with my sets of Heil headphones that I've taken down to Bonaire how many sets of cushions I've had to replace over the years from all of the operating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little too much DEET on the ears, you'll start looking like Princess Leia.
Clubs. Yeah, don't need to be a club member. Clubs are usually inviting. Like I said, it's a big homecoming. People drop in all the time, and it's if you want to meet other hams in the community, it's find your local field day site on the Field Day Finder, and you'll be you'll meet tons of people. So
a lot of times you're just able to just drop right in, say hello. I don't think too many people aren't going to kick anyone out, especially even this year. I don't think anyone's going to really get kicked out.
No, and they'll probably even invite you to dinner, even if you didn't bring an item for potluck. So
because no one goes home hungry at field day.
No, that's for sure. In fact, I always seem to bring home more food than I take. So it's, I don't know how
you're a bad cook. Oh, did I say that out
loud? Nobody's complained about my breakfast yet. So
no.
And with that, we're kind of coming to the end of the show here. So
can we pick up that question from Don?
Yes. That just came through. Trying to learn the ham radio test. I'm going to Kentucky from Indiana to take my test, and then go to field day. I need help to study for it. So
can I make a recommendation?
Go for it.
So we have had a new addition to the ARRL staff in terms of providing content. As you guys probably know, especially since I'm sitting here, one of the things that I've tried to do as CEO is to really engage with the YouTube content creators. And one of the guys who I just think is phenomenal is KE0OG.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, I was an Ogie or Ogie, but, you know, pretty early on. And we have just signed him to do a monthly column in QST called Ask Dave.
Oh, nice.
And he has a series of videos for preparing for the technician test. And I would encourage anyone that is just getting started and wants to have that casual mentoring experience, you know, in preparing to take the test, to watch Dave's videos. They're fabulous. You can pick up the ARRL licensing manual from the store. He uses that for each sub chapter is a different video, and it's just a great casual way to be able to prepare for the test. So, you know, Don, I wish you well. I hope that you pass your test. I hope you have fun on field day, and let us know that you got your call sign.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
On a side note, I've taught all the license classes from tech to extra, and one of the first things I put down in my recommendation is watch Dave's videos. They are so good, and he gets a lot of information in there, but it's the key bullet points in a 15 to 20-minute video. Watch one a day, you know, or pick out the ones that you're having the problems on, and, you know, in no time you'll have that test taken care of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, and they're really, yeah. The video series is very approachable. It's very casual, so and people learn in different ways. So that sort of type of education works for, you know, a lot of people. So if you have trouble cracking a book, you know, turn on the video. So.
Absolutely.
And I know it's
free. It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, W4EEY is a great. Gary's got some great videos too for the general and extra license. So there's tons of resources out there.
Yep.
You know, if you want to go through a series or if you want to go through particular topics, you know, I know a lot of my videos. I'll do something. I'll pick a topic, you know, that pertains to either the technician or the general, and that's you know, it gives just a little bit more clarity to maybe something that people are struggling with. So that's something that I've done with a lot of my videos. So with that, I think, you know, we're going to kind of wrap things up here this evening because we're a little bit, you know, I try to keep her at an hour, and we're going a little bit over our time. But David, this was a fascinating conversation this evening, and
lots of fun.
And I'm glad you could make it. And you know, it's just good to kind of talk about this. You know, like I said, you know, field day is that, you know, like it's that shared experience, and we all have stories. And this half hour went just way too fast.
And I think after last year, with, you know, a lot of us canceled field day in person, it's just built up. It's like, we got to do it this year, or we're gonna all like lose our mind. So I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
Thank you so much for the questions. If you keep sending them, we'll keep answering them. Feel free to leave your questions and comments down in the comment area below. I'll filter through them, and who knows, yours may end up on our next Your Questions Answered live stream. Our Q&A live streams happen on the first Thursday of the month, starting at 7:00 p.m. Central Time. I hope to see you there. For more articles and information, along with a full line of VHF and UHF antennas for sale, please check out my website at www.jpol-antenna.com. Your support of this channel drives the production of future videos. Check us out on Patreon. Patrons gain access to exclusive content, and our patrons help keep the mission alive. That's over on patreon.com/KB9VBR antennas. Well, give us that thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if it's your first time here. That's your best way to be notified when a new video is released. I'm Michael, KB9VBR. Have a great day, and 73.